Hello.
All right. I'm going to turn off the recording right now. Will you remind me to turn it back on?
Yes. Y'all
All
can tell
right.
me if you have any, if I'm having any issues here.
Right. It's 4 o'clock. So we'll just go ahead and kind of ease on into this. Thank you everyone for being here. I appreciate it very much. Lisa's running Mission Control Center today, so I can concentrate on what I'm saying, because sometimes, you know, I don't multitask as well as some people. Lisa, thank you for being here. Mindy, thank you for being here. Amy, hello. All right, as people pop into the room, I just want to say thank you, first of all, for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here with us. I have listed on the first slide. Now, are you able to see the slide and the screens, or and the people talking? Everybody's good? Okay.
Yes,
I'm not as adept at this Zoom stuff as some of my colleagues. So, colleagues, at any time, if you see me failing to make the grade, feel free to take right over. Yours truly would very much appreciate that. So I want to thank you guys. I put the list up here in alphabetical order of the inaugural advisory council that we have put together. We've started working on this in early January, which was when I started my position as the Destination Career Academy program coordinator, and I'm thrilled to be in this position. Worked with Arva for about 2.5 years as a marketing teacher. And, you know, through the connections that I have from my previous career, my education career, and then just life in general, I was able to kind of put out the feelers. I'd been thinking about it for quite some time before we made the initial contacts, but it was really great because I was pleasantly surprised that everybody we approached gave a big thumbs up. And that was fantastic. So here are the people that are on this inaugural council committee, and Aaron Bailey he works for Dillard's based in Little Rock. Alan Deaver, you're with Morrison Shipley Engineering in Fort Smith. Ashley we determined it's been 8 years ago since I was her teacher, maybe 9, at Bentonville. Yep, at Bentonville High School. She's a former Dca rock star for me out in Bentonville and works for Acosta Marketing and has done great things in her career. So I thought it was really important to bring that younger person perspective to this team. JD Hudman, JD, you're here. He is with Walmart in Bentonville. Jeb is not only with Kennemental in Rogers, which is a manufacturing facility, and as you can kind of see here, the diversity which we tried to implement with manufacturing, with the STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, as well as the art side that usually is kind of when you think about marketing or business. So Jeb is also the father of a very high-performing Arva student, Arkansas Virtual Academy student, who's involved with Dca. So we love his parental perspective as well. Mr. Gore is with the Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia. However, he's based in Conway. And if I get any of these wrong at any point in time, just feel free to correct me. And we have our first concurrent credit set up with Southern Arkansas University, where kids can actually go to school and attend classes while they're in high school getting college credit. And then Lisa Birdwell Anderson is an executive with American Express working remotely out of Conway. I've known Lisa for decades and just really admired her and her career and her work ethics and tenacity. And she can just give us a great global perspective on a lot of different things. And Mike Rogers, Mike is here. He is with Tyson in Springdale. And Mike, I'm not sure if I've got your background completely right, but I believe you are a former career and technical ed teacher in the Northwest area and now works for Tyson, developing this program with them, trying to find qualified candidates in the workforce. So he brings that perspective to it. Pam is with J.B. Hunt in Springdale, she may not be able to join us. She's the one that's out in California right now. And then Mr. Barker is actually a program advisor with the Arkansas Department of Career Tech Ed in Little Rock. And he informed me that he's not able to make it today because of different obligations. So this is our team. Thank you so much for helping us out. You've got me. And then Lisa Short is in the room. She's actually the administrator of the Destinations Career Academy. Mindy Felton is in here. She's our high school principal. Laura Davidson is here as well, our assistant principal. And then we're also joined by Kristen Allen, who's the academic administrator over all of our schools at Arkansas Virtual Academy. And then Amy Johnson, she's head of all of it. So, and she still has hair on her head. She hasn't pulled it all out yet. Yay. All right, so thank y'all for being here. Quick agenda for you. We're just going to go over the purpose of the DCA and the Advisory Council, what the K-12 connection actually is, because a lot of people, as I travel around the state, even my dear friends, are always asking me, what is it exactly that you do? How is it that you're teaching online? What, you know, they just really don't get either they have never heard of it or they have heard of it and they don't understand it. So we're going to talk a tiny bit about that, and then we're going to talk about it, the career pathways our students have and their opportunities, and then a May meeting. So we're promised to try to take up as little of your time as possible. And if you have questions along the way, please stop me. Pamela, is that you on the phone? Someone's in here on the phone, and I can't tell who that is. So, all right. I'm assuming it's somebody that should be here. So, okay.
Hi, this is Mike Rogers. I'm on the call.
Okay, perfect. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Thank you guys for being here. Does anybody want to say anything about themselves? I figured we would save that for another time. Or y'all good? Everybody good? Okay. K12.com. If you go to K12.com, you're going to find more than you ever wanted to know about online education. Many people now are getting their degrees from online schools 100%, and this has trickled down to a high school diploma as well. Arkansas, I'm proud to say, kind of is leading the pack. We're not, you know, the front runners, but we're definitely not the last on board for online education either. Arva's got a very strong school. And Amy, how long have we been, the high school, I know this is the third year of the high school, but for Arva as a whole, 12, 13, 15?
Something like that. It's actually year 5 for the high school, but it'll be our third graduating class.
Okay.
We spent 2 years as a 9-10 and then a 9-10-11 before having our first graduating class.
And
so
we
started out as a virtual school as a grant, and then moved into a virtual academy. So it depends on how you count the years, whether you count the actual sort of the grant years or not. So, but.
Well, and I kind of followed it from an outsider looking in, just as a curiosity, kind of thinking, "Ooh, what is this? What are these people, you know, doing?" And then I was fortunate enough to get on board, and we're filling a niche and a need that is real. We have 1,000 kids in the high school right now, and we will graduate our third graduating class in May with well over 120 graduates, which is bigger than the high school that I went to up here in the Northwest Corridor. So it's real, and this is what kids are doing. So K12.com for all of the information you might ever want to know. And then the destinationacademy.com is a new website that they've rolled out. Again, Arkansas is in the front runner of this. A year ago, there were 6. This year, there are 13. Next year, there should be 17 or more. So, and for those of you that don't know, we have a virtual academy in 38 states. Does that sound right? We're K-12 is pretty much in every state that allows a charter school online. So there you go. Next. This is kind of a real quick slide. I pulled it directly off the destination website of why a student or a family might choose this. And what I've learned is that every kid at Arva has a story. They have a reason for being where they are. And we are about the most diverse entity I have seen. We have kids with health problems. We have kids that are gifted and talented, and their local brick and mortar was not meeting their needs. They were bored out of their mind. We have kids who have special needs and, you know, are in a special ed type program. We have kids who want to work and don't want to be involved in all the other drama and all the other things that go on in a high school, so they choose us. So these kids can get in and they can get certification exams. They just took the national ACT 2 weeks ago. They can be in clubs. They can earn college credit. So these are all the reasons why the destination is so timely and so relevant for today. Okay, so that's just a quick slide on that. I sent these documents to you, and I hope you had a chance to review them. With any, I don't know what, I'm losing my words. With any group that is formed, you know, we have to have a general advisory council because we have to be accountable. So you guys are going to be the people out in what we teachers refer to. I spent 20 years in the real world, and now I've spent 13 years in, I don't know what it is, the non-real world. That always kind of cracked me up, that education would always call it the real world. And it's like, yeah, but you know, education's the real world too. So they're just two worlds. And I think sometimes they're two worlds that don't really mesh well. But I've walked in both of them. And in this world of education, we have to have an advisory council, okay? So what we're gonna ask you to do is to not make policy, nor enforce policy, but take a look at our policy and what we're doing, and then through your eyes of the world you're living in, tell us if we're on the right track. Or say, you know what, that looks great, but why don't you try this? You know, especially Mr. Mike, where'd he go? Is he gone? You know, at the Tyson, where they have this whole program, you know, training students. And the reason they do it is because there's a skills gap out there right now. They can't find people to fill these jobs that they have. So this is the mission, is to connect the education with the industry to best serve not only our students, but the communities in which they live and they're going to work. And then the vision is for us to be market-based. You know, I really don't want it to be just a check off the box. You know, like, yeah, we got to have this advisory committee. Yeah, that's done. You know, your common denominator with this group is me. So I'm hoping you'll get to know each other better, kind of outside this Kim Wary connection, and that we can really help our kids. That's the goal. Does that make sense? Amy will tell me, Mindy will tell me if I'm not, at least I know will tell me if I'm not making sense. Both Lisas. So far so good? Okay. All right. So this is the role of the actual advisory council. Long-term and short-term planning for the career pathways, advising of current industry trends, because, you know, typically education is behind industry trends. You know, when I taught at Bentonville High School, we would get a brand new textbook, and by the time we actually got that textbook for marketing in my hands, which we could only get a new textbook every 5 to 7 years, that textbook was 2 years out of date, because technology moves at that pace. You know, we'd open it up, there'd be a picture of an iPhone that kids didn't even want to use anymore. You know, and that was the brand new textbook. So we tend to be a little bit behind in education, but I think with this whole Destinations Career Academy, we're doing a lot better job of staying on track. But we're going to need our industry partners, our business partnerships, to help us identify those trends and where we can help the students. Support and advocacy, reviewing our courses to make sure they meet industry standards, and promoting any kind of community involvement. So this is got a lot of that education speak in it, but we basically just need you to help us help our kids. Okay? All right. Next. Okay, this is a really cool slide. This is a part of the program that's near and dear to my heart. This is where the students actually get involved and are doing things. I mentioned about Ashley when she first came into the room. It's kind of been like a little reunion because I was her marketing teacher about 10, 12 years ago at Bentonville High School, and she was a student much like our Seth Turner, whose dad is in the room. And these are kids who stepped up and came to their teacher, not the teacher necessarily saying, they're just really terrific young people. And Ashley performed at a high level on the state and national stage, as does Seth. So it's not because she was at Bentonville High School, it's because she had access and had a cheerleader, the teacher, me. And we're doing the same thing in the online school of Arva. So these students have the opportunity to be in Skills USA. We started that just last month, and we have 12 members. We started DECA 2 years ago. We have 20 current members. We took 5 to state competition, and you can see all 5 of them in the photo there, and they all qualified for nationals, which was that's 100%. You know, anytime you get 100%, that's pretty cool. And then we began the first virtual FFA chapter in the nation. Now, DECA was our first national virtual chapter too. So it's just a lot of great things going on for these kids. So the websites for those are there. They're also on the document that I sent. You know, this little document that you got that I'm sure you had time to print out and read and study, you know. Okay, so that's the CTSO. And now I'm going to ask Lisa Short to talk about the pathways and how this actually works.
Thank you, Kim. Again, thanks everyone for attending. I know our time is precious, and we appreciate you agreeing to serve on this great committee that we have to really just help all the kids across the state of Arkansas. In the state of Arkansas, to receive a pathway, you have to be approved by the ACE, which is the Arkansas Career Ed Department. And so in the past, we have been approved for basically all the pathways we have been under the business and technology marketing type area, which were marketing, career readiness. Oh dear, sorry, I went back. Oh dear, I started clicking. Okay, accounting, career readiness, entrepreneurship, marketing, and web technologies. These have been approved, but they were all generally just centralized in the business area. So as we implemented the DCA last summer, we went back to the state, told them about what we were trying to do to broaden our career and technology area, and just met with all the different committees and all the different areas that CTE covers. And we were given permission to apply for the following pathways: advertising and graphic design. And with the advertising and graphic design, the Adobe certifications are tied to that. So we'll be teaching all the Adobe platforms, which, you know, we're going to be teaching the Photoshop, the InDesign, the Illustrator, and then our students will have an opportunity to be certified in those exams at the end of this. The FFA was on board with us offering agribusiness and agri-natural resource. And so these are 2 new pathways in the ag business or agriculture areas that we're offering. The STEM area, which is science, technology, engineering, math, we're going to do computer engineering, which the one we're focusing on is building computers from having nothing throughout. Just a student will learn how to build a computer from the bottom up. And the other is mobile applications, where the students are going to learn to actually create apps, and they're all excited about that. And so we are very fortunate and very thankful for the state for allowing us to be approved for these pathways and to teach these next year, starting our school year 1920. And so with all of these, our main goal is to give the kids the opportunity while they're in high school, what's a free education, to explore these areas and decide what they're really wanting to be when they grow up. You know, they all have this vision of what they want to be, but we need to help guide them and advise them in choosing what's going to be best for them. And that's where we'll need help from y'all. You know, what is the state of Arkansas needs? What are the jobs out there? And then we can pull like how many jobs are going to be available in 10 years in what area, and then basically what the income these students might be able to make. The career readiness pathway is a whole series of courses that basically just let the students reflect upon themselves. They take career interest surveys. They have an opportunity to get certified in some work keys, which is basically making the students employable, teaching them how to be a good employee. They also are able to look at different scholarships out there, apply for universities, and we help them in a resume building course. And so that's been a great little class that we started this year, because it's all about the student. And I'm hearing feedbacks from my teachers all the time that say, man, these kids really like this class. And you're like, why do they like it? Because it's all about them. And that's why we're all like that. We like anything that's about ourselves. And so anyway, we're very fortunate to be approved for these, and we work closely with the state to be sure we're doing everything that a brick and mortar might do, but just in our online setting. And again, all of these pathways are open to any DCA, which is Destination Career Academy students. And it's basically a DCA student is any student taking a career in technology or a technical class. And that's all of these. And so this year, our numbers are growing. And, you know, our goal is to get as many of our Arva students interested in CTE as we can. So those are our pathways. And these are some different platforms that we're able to provide the students. These platforms are quite pricey if we were in a brick and mortar, but being under the K-12 umbrella, the K-12 funds these logins for us to share with the students. NEPRIS is one. NEPRIS is a connecting industry professionals in everyday classroom. There is a series of recorded videos, as you can see here, from any occupation that you can think of. And teachers can use these in their classroom. I have a senior English teacher that's doing one this Thursday, and she's actually sent a survey out on someone about future careers. And we're connecting live with someone on Thursday during her class connect. And the students are going to have a Q&A where they're actually asked to ask this individual questions. So that's a different, there's two sides to NEPRIS. We can schedule professionals to come in and talk to our students, kind of like a job shadowing online is what it is. And all of these are approved and you know, been screened and everything's good on that. Or we can watch pre-recorded videos. We have Arva Adventure Days where our kids get to go meet face-to-face, and then some of our teachers do it online. Last Friday, our 2 virtual teachers had 65 kids, and they showed NEPRIS videos at Arva Adventure Day. And so that was kind of neat. They just picked little short ones and let the kids, you know, say, I want to know what a firefighter does. So it's a great avenue that we have through our DCA. The other thing, the state of Arkansas does provide Microsoft certification testing, and we're testing 3 students this spring during our state testing. We're excited about that, and we're going to try to test more kids each year with a Microsoft certification. And then Tallo is a platform that I like to refer to. It's like our LinkedIn. I'm sure you all have a LinkedIn, and that's how, you know, some of us receive jobs and find different things that are out there. Well, Tallo is a platform for students to build their profile, add where they want to go to school. Then Tallo goes out and finds all of the scholarships tied to that. And basically, if they want to major in a certain, let's say they want to major in advertising and graphic design, then companies looking for graphic designers have an avenue to go in and recruit kids or provide scholarships. And so we're rolling that out, in fact, this month. And it's just the student version of LinkedIn. And students will be able to leave Arva graduating with a Tallo login and keep that throughout their university year. So our work career, you know, everybody's not going to go to college, and that's fine. And so these platforms are going to help them in any way. So we're very fortunate to have these logins, and we're already using some of them and look forward to implementing more of those as the years go on.
You know, I just kind of wanted to wrap up. You know, we were trying to keep it 30 minutes about, and your question might be, okay, so what do we do next? And that's what we're getting ready to meet with our national team in 2 weeks in Dallas, and then we will be meeting again in Little Rock, or maybe I've got those backwards. Maybe we're going to meet in Little Rock first and then Dallas. And then as we learn more, because this is brand new, we will roll more out to you. But I was just thinking, as Lisa was talking about the NEPRIS and the people visiting, how great would it be for Mr. Turner and Mr. Deaver to come in and speak to our math classes and talk about how, you're an engineer, you guys are engineers, and what if someone had grabbed hold of you when you were in high school and started, talking to you about the things you were really interested in when you were in high school. You might have wasted a little bit less time. If you were anything like me, I wasted a little bit of time out there between ages 18 and 25. Maybe I wasted a lot. I don't know. Lisa Anderson, I was just thinking as Lisa Short was talking, I know Lisa's an executive with American Express, but what I failed to tell you is she also runs large-scale farming operations out near Cersei and Quitman, which is what Mindy's, our principal's husband, does. And I grew up on a large cattle ranch, even though my dad was a pharmacist. So it's like this business stuff and these jobs are all connected. And we've got to impress upon these kids that no matter what job that they're going to, whether they're going to the military, whether they're going to post-secondary, whether they're going straight to work, that the education, it matters. Because as a mom and a teacher who has watched young people for 25 years, the gap is growing. We've got either these high performing kids, or we've got these kids that really have no path at all. And it's our job as a community to all come together and help them to succeed. So that's why we're all here. Questions? This is such a dynamic group. Aaron, you and JD could come in and talk about marketing and retailing way better than I ever could, because I loved marketing and retailing. I was in it for 22 years, but you know what? I'm 13 years out. It's changed a little bit in 13 years. I know Aaron runs the click and bait and switch and all that stuff for Dillard. So, when they tell you, it comes back later, did you forget to buy this in your cart? And I'm like, no, I didn't want to buy that in my cart. Now that's Aaron doing that at Dillard. So there's some really great talent in this group. So we are just so excited to have you guys here. Thank you so much. Amy, Mindy, Laura, Lisa. Okay, anybody else? Miss Birdwell, Mr. Deaver, Mr. Turner, from a father's perspective? That might be really cool.
Yeah. No, this looks really good. In fact, I was going to ask questions about at what age that they could start in this program, if it was going to be offered at a certain age right now, like 8th grade and up, or is it any age? Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, I could hear you the whole time. I just didn't know who was going to answer. 9th grade. As soon as they enroll in high school, they're able to choose a pathway. The one question we get all the time is, do they have to choose just one pathway? The answer is no. They could definitely do an ag business plus a marketing strand. We have a lot of kids that are interested in medical. So we're hoping to add that on in the next year or so. But we always begin with the base of marketing and entrepreneurship, because that just bleeds over into everything. But yes, a kid could do a web design, mobile applications, and entrepreneurship. They could do ag business and entrepreneurship.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the program. I like it for the reason you said at the end, which is that a lot of people don't know right away what they want to do. So I think this will give them a good chance. Maybe they'll like it, maybe they won't, but either way, they'll get some guidance. So I like it.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Turner, for your question. And one thing we're trying to do, we surveyed the kids at this time. We just finished a survey that went out to all of our kids, and we let them kind of tell us, kind of drive what we offer in high school, because a true CTE program is just not, oh, we think this is good. So the survey is basically all the pathways you saw, and we have an other on there, and the students get to list other things that they might be interested. But out of this, we had 386 students respond to the survey, and they got to choose what we call a pathway, and that can change at any time. But last year at this time, we had 110 students. So you can see, as we're growing and we continue to talk about this, and as we grow as a school, and as a Destination Career Academy, we're trying to involve more and more students and letting them know they're driving what we're offering and what we do rather than the school driving them. So that's kind of the avenue.
That's good.
That's
So
where
how
we
many
want to go.
how many of them wanted to be YouTube stars?
You know, we get asked that all the time. If I'm going to be a YouTube star, what do I major in? What pathway do I choose? So, you know, Kim takes over and says marketing all the way. And we say, you know, you got to be able to, I always say accounting. You know, you're going to have to bank someday. You're going to have to know how to handle money. And so we are the best. Kim and I, those kids throw something out, we come back with, but
I told mine that they should pursue a different career just in case that, you know, to fall back on in case that doesn't
work. But you're right on cue there. There's a lot that want to be YouTube stars, and maybe so.
You know, I read, this may be old data, but I remember, I think when I was early in the workforce, there was some statistic that people change careers somewhere between like 5 and 10 times before they settle in what they finally do and that they're happy with. And I think something like this, had it been available when I was in high school, I probably would have changed careers a few less times. I think it sounds good. I mean, they had something like this for medical sciences at the high school I went to, but it was for the extremely gifted kids only. And so it was something really hard to get into. And even if you got into it, you might not stay. So the fact that this encompasses a broad range of careers, and I guess VOTEC is what they called it when I was in school, for other careers and technology paths. But I think this is going to be really good. I'm glad y'all are doing this.
Well, and we hope to, I mean, we're talking big numbers, you know, 975 at the high school, over 2/3 are enrolled into the DCA, 300 have chosen a pathway. Those are big numbers, but my job specifically as we get further into this is all brand new, but as the dust settles and we get a little bit more used to what we're doing, I really hope to get in there and personalize it. So when that kid from Quitman, Arkansas calls me and says that she wants to be own her own, be a colorist and own her own salon, you know, and she doesn't want to go to college and all this, I can get with her and we can put a plan together to get her going where she needs to go. Because, you know, I don't know about you guys, but the person who does my hair makes a ton of money. So, and a lot of it's from me. And, you know, so we want to meet these kids where they are. And, you know, I live up in the Northwest corridor where, you know, cows and chickens paid for my college and my wedding. So, you know, that whole poultry and agriculture and all of that, that's not going away. And I know my guy from Tyson here is probably going, you're absolutely right. And it takes engineering type people to run those machines and run those plants and to make them profitable. And I don't know, it's just so big, but what we have to be passionate about is to convince these kids that there's something out there for them and they have a purpose. If they have a purpose, they will stay in school. And they have to have a job. That's what I tell them all the time. You know, my kids, when they were growing up, they were, I want to be this, I want to be that. I'm not going to mess with that marketing stuff. And it's like, well, I don't care what you want to be. You have to learn how to manage your money and how to make that money. You got to make it first, and then you got to manage it. So I'm glad we're all on the same page. So thanks again. Shoot me any emails or questions. At the next meeting, we will elect a chairperson from the professionals that are not in education to lead up the council and kind of set some plans for the August school year. You know, our goal this semester was to get this up and running, to make the contacts, get out the information. We'll reconvene with the K-12 people in Texas. I'll push that information out. We'll meet one more time in May. I chose the earlier time, or wait, maybe it was a later time. I think it's at 5. Yeah, it's a little bit later to help people. And then we'll just get some plans in place for the upcoming year. Lisa, does that sound good? All right, Miss Johnson, Miss Felton.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you, Kim and Lisa, for getting this together, y'all. Kim has done an outstanding job of this group of people in this room. Just looking at names and titles, it's just an amazing group. And we really look forward to working with y'all and, you know, forming these relationships. And we're excited to have y'all all on board with us.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you. Stay warm. I hope it's warm where you are because it's like 11 degrees where I am. All right. I'll send this recording out and a little follow-up email probably tomorrow, and then we'll be in touch before May. All right.
Sounds good.
Thank
All right. I
you.
wish
Thank you.
everybody a very, very
Bye.
profitable
Thanks,
quarter.
everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Very
Okay.
good.
That
Very
it?
good.
All right.
Very good. Did you turn off the recording?
Turn off the recording.